Welcome to News for the Newsless. I'm Tim Black. How have you been doing? News for the Newsless, the news you need just the way you want it. How did your Juneteenth go? Did you celebrate? Take the day off, casually eat some ribs? I hope it went well. Everybody needs a day off. Today we're going to be talking about Juneteenth. Now, if you are familiar with Juneteenth, you know that General Gordon Granger in 1865 went to Galveston, Texas. Now, these are just the facts. We got opinions coming later. But General Gordon Granger goes to Galveston, Texas to inform over 250,000 slaves, 250,000 slaves, that they are free after 2.5 years of emancipation after President Abraham Lincoln signs the Emancipation Proclamation. Celebrations happen. People throw off their shackles. I'm assuming there was a mass exodus when it comes to the plantation situation. People throw off their shackles, and reading goes up by 70% in a little over a decade. Black ownership of land, education, growth goes exponentially. It thrives. Black people are allowed to do what every other human being is allowed to do, so we get to it. Right? These are the facts. And then throughout Texas and throughout the South, that is celebrated depending on how much you know about your family in U.S. history as a black person. My family's from Barbados, so my knowledge initially of what the Southern black had been through was pretty much nothing. I knew that slavery existed. I know that we were brought over here on a big ship, and Eli Whitney, Cotton Gin, Emancipation Proclamation. Like, you hear about the Emancipation Proclamation, but you don't hear about Juneteenth. And it wasn't until, honestly, I didn't know about Juneteenth till about 10 years ago. And even still, I didn't understand the gravity and the weight that came with that celebration and how many people were celebrating it. So then comes along in 2016, a wonderful young lady named Opal Lee. If you don't know who Opal Lee is, she is essentially the grandmother of the Juneteenth holiday. And as I was growing up in the South, I always had some kind of, reminder that people were celebrating this day. And even still, I didn't understand the weight of it. So, you're just slaving along, and then somebody rides up. All you know is captivity, struggle, and being under the boot of one thing. All you've seen is your family and friends die trying to escape the shackles of this incarceration. This is your entire reality. And then somebody marches in on a horse and is like, y'all didn't know y'all was free? Like, y'all free as fuck, like the president said you were free. Like, you free. You know how we like to say things twice to make sure it's very clear in your head what's going on as black people. You ain't free. You free. Like, there's the big white man in charge that's in charge of all the other white people. He said, gone home. Go do your own shit. You have to imagine the thrill. And of course, black people, I think we were kind of moving along around 1865, but even still, black people were saving, putting pennies together, finding ways to provide for themselves, as we always have done. So 2016, Opal Lee, out of Texas, she her house was burned down as a kid in 1939. And her being kind of that age and of that celebration, because that knowledge stayed there. And then, of course, it gets watered down throughout the years, and black Americans like myself don't have the information. So big shout out to Opal Lee. Her house gets burned down in Texas in 1939, and she continues to celebrate Juneteenth. She continues to celebrate that freedom that they felt, that celebration of knowing that it's over. 2016, Opal starts walking from Texas 2.5 miles a day to Washington, D.C. I didn't look to see how long it took her, just because I didn't want to throw no shade on it, but she's an old ass lady just walking. Somebody was like, ma'am, that's how she got the attention. Somebody was like, ma'am, get out of the road. Where's your caretaker? But Opal is a strong woman. So she goes and she catches fire. She becomes trending. People are celebrating Juneteenth. I kind of start to hear it, I want to say around 2016, about 10 years ago. Honestly, Opal Lee might be the main reason that I even heard about Juneteenth and started trying to understand it. Opal Lee walks to President Biden, and by 2021, she has gotten Juneteenth as a national holiday. Everybody gets a day off. Thank you, Opal. You got us a day off. The celebration and what it does for black people is significant in America. And those are the facts. Now let's get to the business. Also factual, by the way. Also factual. But there's always something that happens in America where the story gets converted into a celebration, and the source of that celebration and the source of that conversion is so muddied with controversy, failure, death, and more so lack of accountability. So what happens in these situations is that I try to do these posts without demeaning any group of people. Okay? I don't like to go out there and say, this guy did this, and this guy did this, and this group of guys that look like this did this. I don't like doing that. Unfortunately, the situations call for it. And not because I have constructed some mad equation in my brain to find out that it was powerful white men that made these decisions. Those are just the facts. Those are just the facts. No one's trying to undermine or depreciate whatever you bring to your family and whatever you bring to society on an everyday basis, no matter of your race, color, or creed. But the fact of the matter, goddammit, is that this shit was done by white people. Very powerful ones. So, 1865. Yay! We're all celebrating. It's going down, right? 1865, it's going down. We're celebrating. Black growth is at an all-time high. We are finding our own communities. We're going to, we're finding our own farms. We're creating opportunities. We're making relationships with other like-minded people, whether they be black or white, because every white person wasn't bad. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. So then, we get into that. We get into the celebration, the joy. And then immediately after that, you have the Memphis Massacre, 1866. Juneteenth, 1865, Memphis massacre. They lose 50 to 65 people. 1866. 1868, the Opelousas massacre in Louisiana. They lose over 100 people, almost 200 people. 1898, the Wilmington coup. They kill over 300 people. The Wilmington coup and massacre is the only successful coup d'etat or takeover of a governmental space in U.S. history. It was a multi-race government in peace and harmony. It was black and white people having a good time, figuring it out, making money, and the Klan said no. And they took over that government and killed hundreds of people. That's in 1898. Mind you, 1865, 1898. It would appear that when we did finally get our freedom and we were able to start to flourish, people were not having it. Then you go into 1917, you have the East St. Louis massacre. That's another 100 people, another 150 people. And of course, Black Wall Street, 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma. These are facts. And then what happens is, as time goes on, you can't just start running up in people's cities and setting shit on fire. So laws are made. Morals are found. Humanitarianism is considered. So what happens is that these people, we make laws. You can't just run up in a fucking city and start setting people on fire. That's just not okay. But then the anger from that trickles in 20 years later to 1943, where you have the Detroit riots. And they're mad because we're sharing jobs. We're sharing houses now. Now you live in the same neighborhood and we got the same pay. So now there's a riot in Detroit. And instead of calling them massacres now, as we go through time, 1943, 1963, the Birmingham bombing, they start calling these massacres riots. The Watts riots, the Harlem riots. And then you know why these riots are happening? They are all at the hands of somebody of authority, abusing that authority, and then people walking out into the street trying to defend their rights that they were given in 1863, not 1865. They were not given those rights in 1865. They found out about them. Am I insane? Am I insane that that's so offensive? No. How can I be insane? We've got Columbus Day, which basically is the holiday that started all the genocide and all the killing. Hey, look what we found. Let's take it. And if they don't look like us or sound like us, let's take it harder. Thanksgiving. That's a land grab. That is taking indigenous people out of their homes. July 4th, Independence Day, slavery was still legal in 1776. Who the fuck is independent? Whose freedom are we celebrating? Whose freedom are we celebrating? Come on now. So when I look at Juneteenth, I look at it with a heavy heart. Am I thankful to have the day off? Sure, I don't have the day off. I'm a bartender. People be turning up on Juneteenth like it's a Black Cinco de Mayo or something. Walmart, Target, corporations now, because it's a national holiday, are now gaining profit off of a lie, off of misinformation. Y'all couldn't send a letter? Y'all couldn't send... Emancipation Proclamation gets signed, and y'all couldn't send some letters to some other states to let people know? Or you got the letter and were like, fuck them. So where are we at? And now it continues to happen day after day after day. As a national holiday, Juneteenth now puts money in the pockets of these people and their oppressors. Hollywood has got a new movie about slavery every couple of years. A new movie about struggle every couple of years. Struggle has become so trending that now white people are doing it. Oppression has become so... People love to be oppressed. People love to be oppressed. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And I know this is going to suck. And you can jump in on the comments however you feel, because that's what we're here for. We're here for this kind of conversation. We're here for a back and forth. So if you think I'm wrong, by all means, let me know and why. Don't just say you're wrong. Let me know why I'm wrong, because I can take that with me and I can grow. And I hope that you're taking information like that too. But in the reality of things, oppression has gotten so trending that you can't complain about being a white person, and white people know that. That's why we have an amazing word called trauma. Say it with me. Trauma. If PTSD, do you know how many black people have PTSD just because they black? You know how fucking ridiculous that is, that people are walking around every day having to concern themselves with the way that they look, and you out here with your honey boo boo ass talking about some body shaming? Body shaming? Come on, man. We got to start opening our eyes and looking at the whole picture. Okay? Because it's getting out of hand, man. It's getting out of hand. And unfortunately, we put ourselves in a position to not follow suit. And we see the problem and we acknowledge the problem. But somewhere after all of that, seeing and acknowledging, we lose the big picture. So, guys, happy Juneteenth. Happy holidays. Happy day off is probably what I'm going to start saying. Happy day off. But know your origins. Understand that an I'm sorry and a gesture, although polite and kind, doesn't fix the problem. Doesn't fix the Katrinas. Doesn't fix the George Floyds. It doesn't fix the Rodney Kings. It doesn't fix those things where people are still being pointlessly killed in their homes and beyond. Think about it, guys. This has been News for the Newsless. The news you need, just the way you want it. Happy Juneteenth. We'll talk to you soon.